to cover, and we're going to cover it all. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. So the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, is in D.C., back where he belongs, the seat of power. We are one day away from Trump's second inauguration, being sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. Doesn't get better than this. I mean, the Trump miracle continues. You know, he flew on Air Force One yesterday back to Washington, and he's back. So this is a wonderful thing. So I want to talk about some of the things that I've observed over the weekend. And President Trump, you know, the title of this video is, you know, Trump's new move. Trump's new move is miraculous. Did you watch him get off of Air Force One yesterday in Virginia? Did you see this? Trump, when Trump got off Air Force One in Virginia, he comes down. By the way, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. He comes down the steps. He's on the tarmac, and you can hear all these vultures, all these lowlifes in the media barking questions at him. Mr. President, did you see what Trump did with the press? Did you see what he did? He got right in his car and drove off. He didn't talk to them. And that is not an accident. President Trump has made a very calculated decision to not feed the media, not talk to the fake news media. You know, he's done with them. You know, in his first term, he would have gotten off of the plane. He's on the tarmac. The fake news are barking questions, and he would have gone straight to them. Started answering their questions, started a dialogue, and talked out there for 20 to 30 minutes. He just waved and got in his car with Melania and Barron and drove off. And that's very different what Trump's doing here. This is incredibly different. And we've seen this going on a little bit, but not really like that yesterday, because Trump has been holed up in Mar-a-Lago. We haven't really seen him out, you know, in front of the press corps so much. He has a press conference here and there, but I'm talking about like going to or someplace, and you've got the press corps following him. And that was beautiful. Now, also, it was reported a few days ago that Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, is not going to have an office in the West Wing. She's going to do her press conferences somewhere else. And handle the press from somewhere else. So this is really, you know, amazing. We talk so much about President Trump's agenda, what he's doing, how he's draining the swamp. But what he's doing is cutting the fake news media out. And this is going to be the final show for the fake news media. 4 years of this great second Trump term with the fake news, the so-called traditional media, the 1980s media that think they're important still, being completely shut out. By the end of the 4 years, they're going to be nobodies. And, you know, President Trump knows more about these people than we do. They are not just fake news, they're propagandists, they're leftist, they're deep staters. There's all kinds of things going on. Like yesterday, excuse me, I was flipping back and forth between right side news with their coverage in Washington, Fox News, and MSNBC yesterday. And I caught a couple of times that guy Velshi on MSNBC, you know, the guy that's bald. You know, he's probably got a bald spot. So a lot of these guys, they get a bald spot. And instead of wearing like a winter cap like Tim Pool, who thinks he's Michael Nesmith, you know, they just shave their whole head and go completely bald for the Mr. Clean look. You know who I'm talking about? Velshi on. And he interviewed a former governor. I think, was it the governor of Washington State or Oregon? Whichever. I don't remember. It's not important. Some Democrat jerk. And at the end of the interview, he said, he's doing like an outro introduction, and he says, you've been a strong defender of the climate and of democracy. And I've been watching the media. This goes for CNN too. All of these people that are on the MSNBC, CNN wing of the media, they keep telling us, if you're watching them, I know I watch them because it's part of my show prep. If I didn't do this, I wouldn't watch them. But you got to know what the other side is doing, and so you could talk about it. And what's happened to these people is they're trying to brand themselves as the defenders of democracy, meaning that, look at this thing that Jim Acosta pulled on Thursday with this card that this idiot viewer gave him. What they're saying is if a president wins that they don't back, democracy has failed. If a Democrat does not win, democracy has failed. Democracy only wins if Jim Acosta and Rachel Maddow's choice wins. Democracy only exists if a Democrat wins. That's a losing strategy. You look at this glorious, historic return of President Trump. The American people are behind this guy, and the people in the media, a lot of it is they're humiliated. They've had 10 years of their crap going against President Trump, and they failed. And they're humiliated with their viewers that they weren't able to pull this off and get Kamala elected, or anybody other than Trump, or get Trump locked up in prison. They thought Trump would be in prison by this point, and disgraced, and we wouldn't be supporting him. But that's not the case. They gave me steamed milk. I didn't order this. Steamed milk, and it's not that bad, but it's about 3,000 degrees, the steamed milk. So I gotta let it cool off a little bit. I'm just drinking foam. I've yet to have any actual caffeine because that foam is boiling hot. It's like McDonald's coffee back in the 70s. Remember that? So, the media, this second term, Trump is swamp draining involves many things, like what Kash Patel's going to do, But a big portion of his draining the swamp is ending the reign of the legacy media, the mainstream media, the fake news media, whatever we want to call it. And that's a good thing. I've been saying for years, they're a poison in our society, the media. They think they're the defenders of democracy. They're the opposite. And that's a great thing. That really is a great thing. You got to wonder, throughout our entire nation's history, what role did the media play in manipulating things? And they've lost that ability, and they're just, they can't accept it. So the people that are on the air, there's a few things. They're humiliated that they couldn't get Trump locked up or somebody else elected or even get someone else nominated during the primary. They're humiliated. They're numb. They don't even understand that they're being cut out of the entire process. And I think this is a great thing. Oh, I wanted to mention something about the TikTok ban because Biden, was it yesterday? Biden said it's up to Trump what to do with it. He said he's going to issue an executive order on it. But I didn't realize there's a lot of other apps that the company that owns TikTok have. And one of them, I had no idea. But I don't use TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't use TikTok. I don't like TikTok. But a lot of people are on TikTok, young people that voted for Trump. But there's a lot of other apps under that company that look like they might, if TikTok's gone, they may be gone too. And there's one that I use all the time when I vlog. Whenever I vlog and I edit the videos, I use CapCut. I've got the CapCut app on my phone, and I edit all of my vlogs on all my YouTube channels on CapCut. I had no idea that was the same company that owns TikTok. And that's pretty shocking to me. And CapCut is the most popular editing software. It's not just an app for your phone, it's also, you can have the app on your desktop. And I had no idea that was the same people. It is the best video editing app I've ever used. Because I don't have time to learn to spend hours and hours editing videos when I vlog. I'm just too. I don't have time for that. And any time, like you've seen some of my vlogs when I have like the text on the screen of what I'm saying. It's in CapCut. You just push a button and it does it. It's like, so you can do advanced editing on CapCut without knowing how to edit videos. It's really like an AI version. At least the app. I haven't used the desktop. My wife uses the desktop version of CapCut, but almost every YouTuber that does vlogs, not live streams, but any YouTuber that does vlogs today, 80% or more of them are using CapCut. Everyone's been using it because you can do so many advanced editing things with the push of a button on your phone that would take, in some instances, years to master. And I was in shock to find that CapCut is owned by the same company. So I don't know. I don't use that many apps. Most of the apps I have on my phone that don't come with my iPhone are news apps, like the Breitbart app, New York Post app, things like that. I have news apps. I don't have time to play games and use apps too much. But CapCut's amazing. And now that I just found out this morning that the CapCut editing software, the app, is the same company that owns TikTok. And there's a lot of the TikTok people have been in a state of anxiety. I've been seeing some videos of YouTube. You know how I found out about this is, guys, I've been telling you guys for weeks, I'm going to California the next weekend to visit my daughter, and I'm going to do some vlogging. And there was something I was thinking about doing, so I went on YouTube to find out how to do a particular edit on the CapCut app, and then all these videos came up that it's going to get banned with TikTok. Oh well, I guess I'll have to go back to using iMovie or Adobe. So even though I don't use TikTok or have it on my phone, I've got this other app which probably does the same thing, the same spyware that's in TikTok. The Chinese the Chinese CCP are evil. There's no doubt about it. They are evil. The CCP, you guys agree with that? The CCP is evil. But the Chinese are the smartest people in the world. They're so smart. Yeah, we do have fog here. I rode the MAGA scooter today, although I'm not far from my house, so, but it is foggy for sure. Oh my goodness, that's like 600 degrees, that coffee. Welcome everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. So, who knows? The chances are, if Trump can, he's going to give an executive order to save TikTok. The youth, this is, I'm not defending the CCP or anything else, okay? Okay, because I do understand what TikTok is and the dangers of it from the CCP. The way it works, it's spyware, and it's, it takes everything out of the phone that it's on. And it's mostly younger people. So, people my age, if you're watching and you're my age, even a little younger, you probably don't use TikTok, right? If you're my age or older, But here's the thing about TikTok. TikTok doesn't just take the algorithm that the Chinese don't want. See, the reason it hasn't sold is they don't want to give up the algorithm. The algorithm is Chinese intelligence. It is probably the most sophisticated algorithm there is and it does more than just spyware. But I'll explain all this in a minute. But the way it works, because you may say, well, I don't use TikTok, so I don't care. It's not in my phone. Well, that's not true. Not only does TikTok operate as spyware on the phone that it's installed on, when that phone connects to a Wi-Fi network at your home, at your office, or any Wi-Fi network, even a private one at home, even one at your office, it grabs all the data on all the phones connected to that Wi-Fi network. So that's that. So if your kid or your grandkid or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend have it and you don't, and they connect, or a coworker, and any office, probably all the receptionists probably have it. Anyone who's on that Wi-Fi network, their data is gone too, through the TikTok algorithm spyware. That's but it's not just the spyware. The damage that TikTok has done to this country is beyond measure. Okay? Beyond measure. We do not even know the damage that's been done by it. I give you what I think is the biggest, beyond the spyware, and they have everybody's data. Beyond that, I'll give you the other one, okay, that's big. Have you ever asked yourself, and now I've talked about this in the past. I haven't talked about it in a while, so if you followed me for a while, you've heard me talk about this, but if you're new, you've not heard this. Have you ever asked yourself, why are there so many transgendered people in America today? All of a sudden, transgenderism is, I don't know, is it a fad? I don't know what it is, but how often in the last 3 to 4 years, how often has this come up? And then look at the whole rest of your life before that. Once or twice, maybe, if ever. Why is this transgender thing with the athletes, the kids, all this stuff, why is it all of a sudden so big? And it's because of TikTok. TikTok, it was a drug. It's a drug. When people were getting on TikTok, young people, and they were on other social media platforms, whether it was YouTube or Instagram, right? And even people that were big YouTubers or big on Instagram that have 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 followers and subscribers, they get on TikTok, all of a sudden they've got 5 to 10 million followers on TikTok. People that have zero social media presence, they get on TikTok. Next thing they know, they got 500,000, 2 million followers on TikTok in just a couple of weeks. And TikTok got people using it because young people, all they care about are how many followers and subs they have. TikTok, the Chinese, the CCP, very brilliant. They gave all these followers and interactions to young people, and they made them use TikTok. All right? So the Chinese have been using it not just for spyware, but they've also been using it for propaganda purposes. So the transgender stuff, the Chinese were pushing it on TikTok, and they were pushing videos about it through their algorithm to everyone's phone that has it. And they made this transgender thing popular and a fad through TikTok, the Chinese. And look at the destructive nature that's had. We have senior officers in the United States military under Biden who are transgender. Right? It's weakened this country in a major way. And it did it fast. And it was all done through TikTok. You don't do socials? Well, you're here on YouTube, which is a form of social media and interaction too. But that's the propaganda that the CCP did through TikTok, and I'm sure there's many other things they've influenced, but that's a big one that's obvious that we all see is the transgender. It's amazing how that thing works and what they've done. So believe me, Trump knows all this and a lot more. He has a plan. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know. I know that now that we're on to them, maybe the U.S. government can rein it in. I don't know. But that's the story with TikTok. I mean, it's just the way it is. Why would Trump bail them out? I don't know. Trump knows more about what's going on than we do. And he didn't say 100% he was going to do it. He said he would like to because a lot of people on TikTok voted for him. He hopes that he can. He didn't say definitely. So maybe he doesn't have the full classified reports that they give to the presidents on it yet. I don't know. And maybe there's a way that the U.S. government can get it reined in and under control. All I know is Trump knows everything about everything. He knows exactly what he's doing. So whatever he does with TikTok will be fine. If he saves it, if he doesn't, whatever he does, it'll be the right decision. He knows. I mean, that's just a little bit I know off the top of my head. Can you imagine what Trump knows and what he's briefed on involving it? He knows everything. Mm-hmm. And the Chinese are very patient. Well, so what's going on, though, with the Democrats with TikTok, okay, and this is probably why Jeff Bezos is sucking up to Trump so much. TikTok, it also is competition for Amazon, not just Temu, because of the TikTok shops. It's big competition for Amazon. And also he's got the Washington Post, right? The liberals liked TikTok until about a year ago. About a year or so ago, TikTok went MAGA. I could not believe TikTok is so pro-Trump, is so MAGA now. MAGA's taken over TikTok. And that's why the Democrats are so panicked about it now. And they know that that they're losing control of the Democrats because their media allies have no influence. If Kamala Harris or any other Democrat would have won the presidency this time, like say that Nikki Haley and DeSantis even would have become president if they won the primaries, or Kamala or Biden, they would have shut down pretty much all social media. People like me would be gone. Elon Musk would be gone. X would be taken over because the Democrats and the deep state know that they've lost control of the narrative, they've lost control of the country, they've lost the ability to influence us because of the new media, like this, what I'm doing right now. They want it all gone. And if you remember the Democrats in the last couple of months of the campaign with Kamala, were talking about arresting Elon Musk. Gavin Newsom was talking about it, and they're always talking about unverified reporting on X and other social platforms. We can do our own analysis on what we believe or not, or what's true or not true. We're not going to have these weirdos in the media tell us what's truth and what's not. But that's what they want. They want everything shut down, the Democrats. No getting around it. Yeah, the fog is still out. The coffee's finally cooling off to the point where I can drink it. Yes, welcome. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. I've been up for hours. I've been doing things around. I've been on Sundays, sometimes on Saturdays, but mostly Sundays is a day where I try to get all this housework done. I've been doing laundry for my wife all morning. So when my wife gets up, we'll have to put the laundry away. We'll have to hang up the clothes and put them away. But I've done like 4 loads of laundry today, washed, dried, and folded. And I've got, when I left, I have a load in the wash and a load in the dryer. I don't mind. Yeah, laundry is relaxing. I don't mind doing laundry. But my wife, we've been married a long time, and we agree on most things. I like to do laundry one day a week, Sunday. My wife doesn't like any Dirty laundry. She wants it done as it's dirtied. I like to do it 1 day a week. But you know, I don't know why. It just seems to be more efficient. Any of you guys do laundry? I bet Mark Levin doesn't do laundry. I bet Rush and Hannity have never done laundry. Welcome everyone. Yes. So that's, those are some of the things that are going on, and this is just the beginning. Yeah, you do laundry. That's awesome. We should help our wives do things around the house. When I was a kid growing up, my grandmother taught me how to wash, iron, and fold. I'm not crazy about the folding part, honestly, but my grandmother, she taught me how to wash, iron, and fold. And I buy very few things that have to be ironed, though, because I hate that, too. But I remember my grandmother says, when you grow up, Brian, you're going to be a great husband because you can iron and wash and fold clothes. You do laundry 3 times a week? Yeah. You wear the same clothes for 3 weeks, and then you do laundry on week 4. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Now, my mother-in-law, she's the best folder of laundry. My mother-in-law is she's retired registered nurse. So she went to, nursing school, I don't know, the 50s or the 60s. She's in her 80s. And she can fold like I've never seen folding done before. When she comes over, she'll help us fold clothes. It's amazing. Sheets, too. She can fold sheets, even fitted sheets. I don't even understand. She's trying to show me how to fold the fitted sheets. I don't get it. Ironing is a lost art. I used to iron everything when I was young. When I was in high school, I'd iron my blue jeans. You know how you are in school. You're worried about everybody, I'd iron my blue jeans when I was in high school. But when I was first started in radio, I didn't make a lot of money, and I lived in this apartment, and sometimes I'd go to my parents' house and do laundry, okay? Which, I think a lot of kids do that. But that got to be inconvenient. And we had these, because the apartment, we had a laundry room at the apartment building, but it cost money. And I can't remember how much it was. It was a long time ago. So it was like 50 cents or $1 to wash or dry. I can't remember, something like that. It took quarters. So it could get expensive. But then I found out, I didn't have a lot of money, didn't make any money. I couldn't afford to fill my tank up with gas, even though it only cost like $8 to fill up a car then. So I found that if I put the quarters in the change thing, you know how it had one of those chain things that go, on the washer and the dryer. You ever see those? I'm sure they still have those at laundromats. So I found that if I put the quarters in the change thing and I did it really fast, it would start the washer and dryer, but it wouldn't take the quarters, and I'd get to keep the quarters just really fast. I had to do it really fast. So I did that for a while. Yay. It was over 30 years ago. Statute of limitations is up. You got to do what you got to do. I felt like I had won the lottery because I needed the money. That's right. No, so when Trump got off I don't know how I found that out, but it was like a slot machine, just paying nonstop. But yeah, the parade was canceled. I was talking last night on the stream. I didn't see anything new about this, but Cat Turd posted on Twitter last night that Trump was going to be sworn in at the White House. I haven't seen anything on that, so I don't know if that's true or not. But I don't think that they've canceled all of it because of the weather. I think it's a security issue. What do you guys think? Now, I do remember when Reagan had his second inaugural. I was in 8th grade. It was January 85. And I remember I was in my English class, and my teacher brought a TV in, and we watched the inauguration, and it was inside an arena. They canceled the parade. And what Reagan did actually two things with that. One of them may very much surprise you guys, what he did. Because he did eventually do an outdoor inauguration. But what they did is they had it in whatever was the big arena in D.C. at the time. I don't know which one it was. And the audience was the bands that were going to march in the parade. Since it's a big deal to go to Washington to march in the inaugural parade. And since they didn't get to do that, they had them all in the arena watching in the seats. I thought that was really nice. But there was a blizzard then. I do remember there was a blizzard, and I haven't heard the word blizzard used yet. Have they used the word blizzard with what's going on in D.C. right now? But when Reagan was reinaugurated, I remember clearly, I was here in Florida, I was in 8th grade, and I remember my teacher that showed us she had to be a Republican. Her name was Mrs. Moss, M-O-S-S. I remember her husband was the principal at the high school that my wife went to. But I remember they had a blizzard in D.C. So, and it tells you how the world's changed. What Ronald Reagan did, though, he did have an outdoor inauguration, and what he did was amazing. He had an inauguration at Walt Disney World. It was a real inauguration. He did at Epcot Center at Walt Disney World here in Florida. Ronald Reagan. Epcot Center was new. It opened in 82, so this was January 85. So it's like two and a half years. It opened I think it opened in October of 82. So this is, less than 2 years. At Epcot Center at Walt Disney World, they have the pavilions for the different countries, and he had an inauguration. He was sworn in outside. Michael Eisner, who ran Disney at the time, was sitting with him. Nancy was there. At the American Pavilion at Epcot Center. And President Reagan not only flew here on Air Force One, they had the presidential motorcade driving inside Epcot Center where you walk if you go there to visit. It was really kind of cool. It was really amazing. You can find it on YouTube, I'm sure. Because Ronald Reagan... he hosted on television with Art Linkletter the opening of Disneyland in California because Walt Disney was a hardcore Republican. These woke idiots, Democrats that have taken it over, they've destroyed it. Walt Disney would not put up with any of this woke crap. I'm talking about Mr. Walt Disney, the real Walt Disney. But I haven't heard anything about blizzards. I think this whole thing they're doing is a security. Let me ask you, have they moved the inauguration inside and canceled the parade because of the weather or security? Weather or security? I think it's security. In my opinion. That's what I think. What do you think? Security? Mm-hmm. No. He just won the national election. Why would the crowd be small? Yeah, it's security. Well, it's not just him. He doesn't want people to get hurt like last time. Remember, the Never Trumpers, they shot 3 people, killing 1 in Butler. I'm fine with it. Yesterday I was going to go and watch President Trump leave on Air Force One at the airport. And I didn't know what time he was going to leave. So when I got wind of when it was going to happen, I got on the MAGA scooter. I had to take the MAGA scooter, not the car, because of security. I might not have had a place to park the car, but I could take the MAGA scooter. You can get the MAGA scooter in anywhere, my Vespa. I could put it on the sidewalk, get through things. You can always find a parking space on the MAGA scooter. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going there and watch. We had a feed. I said, if he if he gets to the plane before I get there, call me, because the plane, they have the security around the airport with President Trump's planes has been higher than it was during his first term by tenfold. Okay, they did this in his first term. They block Air Force One with school buses, but they're blocking everything with school buses, and they have a lot more of them. So you can't even see, really. You can see the tail, the top Trump Force One. So you could just see the tail. But I wanted to get there to catch the motorcade coming to the airport. So I got a spot at the airport where I can go and get a good shot at the motorcade. So I left, and I'm heading up there, and then boom, my wife called and said, President Trump and Melania and Barron, they're walking up the steps to the plane. So I missed the motorcade, so I came back home. I got home in time, though, to watch the takeoff on television. I'll catch a motorcade of him. He'll be president next time, and I'll make a vlog and show you guys. Oh, well. I know, it sucked. I wanted to see him. I wanted to wave goodbye to him. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. But I was talking on the stream last night about this. That stream that I did last night, I had just gotten home from the airport. There's a fleet of aircraft in Air Force One, in the Air Force One fleet, and they have two of the big ones. The one that he flew on yesterday is one of the Air Force Ones, but it's one of the smaller ones. They have two of the big supersized ones, but the one he was on yesterday is one of the small ones. And typically, they would send the big one. The small one that he was on is for short distances. Like if he flies from Washington to New York City, they'll usually take the smaller one, right? But from Florida, he went to Virginia yesterday. They would normally take the big one. But Biden sent the small one because Biden is pissed. He's only got a day left, and it was a way to stick it to Trump, making him come on the small plane. That's okay. But President Trump approved that new Air Force One. That's going to be done in his second term. And remember, he approved a change on the paint job, so it's red, white, and blue. Not this. It's the color of Democrats now. They got Democrat blue on it now. It started with JFK. Remember that? And the Democrats were pissed that he wants to put the American flag on Air Force One, like there's something wrong with that. I watched Air Force One about a week or two ago. It holds up okay. Although, I didn't enjoy it as much because Harrison Ford is a big Kamala spokesperson. Yeah, Harrison Ford is a big sellout. I think he's broke. He hasn't been a movie star in a long time, and he's been doing complete shit, right? He did that Dial of Destiny Indiana Jones movie. He did, he's in the new Captain America, which is ridiculous, and he looks ridiculous in it. And the, actors are not getting residuals like they used to because of the streaming services. They're not getting paid residuals. That's why they had that strike last year. And Harrison Ford, his wife, Callista Flockhart, when's the last time she's worked? Ally McBeal was like in the 90s. 1923, they did 10 episodes. Season 2 will be another 10 episodes. I watched 1923 because he was in it. But when I saw the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, I was pissed off. The first scene was spectacular. That was like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And the way the movie ended, a disgrace. But my guess is he got paid to do that Kamala video. Well, why do you think they only did 3 Star Wars movies with the original cast? Because they signed them a 3-movie deal. If they would have done a 4th Star Wars movie with the original cast, they would have had to renegotiate, and they were all big movie stars then. So he didn't make a lot of money for the Star Wars movies. Now, he got a lot of work out of it. But like Air Force, I remember when Harrison Ford, I'm sure he got paid to do that video for Kamala. When Harrison Ford did Air Force One, I saw him interviewed on Larry King Live. That's how long ago it was, on CNN. And he was getting $20 million a movie back then. Remember that? $20 million a movie. And I remember Larry King said to him, he says, $20 million, that's a lot of money. He says, if you had a friend that was doing a small independent movie, would you do it for scale, not $20 million? And Harrison Ford said, well, if I'm in it, it'll make enough money to justify the $20 million. So no. So I think it's been a long time since, and it made that kind of money. And Harrison Ford's got an expensive lifestyle. He's in the planes. I hope Pam Bondi and the Federal Elections Commission look into these celebrities that Kamala was paying. I don't know if that's legal. Mm-hmm. In the villages, welcome. I don't like flying, that's for sure. Now we know why celebrities always endorse Democrats. They get paid. But last night, I'm not a Saturday Night Live person. I used to be when I was a kid. But you guys like Martin Short? Martin Short's a very funny guy. And last night, my wife were watching. I would never watch this. Neither of us would watch this. But they had a 50th anniversary special. It was from Christmas, right? And it was hosted by Martin Short. So we watched the opening monologue. I didn't watch the thing, just the opening monologue. And Martin Short was it was funny. It was funny. And then towards the end, he took a jab at Trump. And I was out of there. It just pissed me off. It took me out of the enjoyment. Harrison Ford's net worth is $300 million. I wouldn't be so sure about that. This is the thing with people, okay? And this is what you got to understand, because if you know people like I do that are people of means, high-income earners, okay? If you talk to high-income earners, now I'm not talking about the Trump level of billionaires. I'm talking about the millionaire level. If you talk to most millionaire men, if you're friends with millionaires, I mean like real friends, not just somebody you work for or an acquaintance, like if you're real friends with millionaires, you hear me talk to Joe Thomas about this. Most millionaires that I know, that I'm friends with, all they tell you is what their monthly nut is. What their monthly nut is. Okay? And because they're supporting everybody in their family. And someone's net worth doesn't mean they got a lot of cash. Look at all these people in California with the fires. They're living on the beach in Malibu in mansions, and they can't afford to rebuild. So their net worth, some of these people, their net worth is 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, but they got no cash. There's a big difference. You have a big house, like some of these people do, right? Like these huge mansions. Between the upkeep of the houses can easily be $50,000 a month. Easily. Plus they're supporting everyone in their family. So don't buy these net worth things that you read online. I mean, think about it. Do you own a house? What's your net worth? Your net worth is nowhere near the amount of cash you have on hand. Harrison Ford is not making complete crap because he has a lot of cash in the bank. There's a difference between having a lot of assets and having liquid cash. Big difference. But almost every millionaire I've known, all they talk about is their monthly nut. Because it's their living expenses, their kids, their parents, their brothers, their sisters. Why do you think Biden is such a crook, right? Biden's family. He's a textbook example of what I'm talking. You say Harrison Ford's worth $300 million net worth. Look at Biden, right? His entire family are bums and degenerates. Not just his immediate family, his siblings. So everyone in his immediate family, right? His wife, his kids, his grandkids, but also everyone in his brother and sister's families, their kids and their grandkids, and his brother and sister's immediate family, they all live off of him. And people like that live high on the hog. So what happens? Biden does crime, right? Harrison Ford makes shitty movies. I mean, like there's a on Apple TV right now. There's a show, Shrinking, about some guy whose wife died, I guess, and the shrink must be like therapy. Hollywood, they love to make movies about people going to psychiatrists. I guess it started with Tony Soprano, right? Harrison Ford's in that, and he's like a supporting actor to this ugly guy whose name I don't even know on Apple TV. Why do you think Harrison Ford is a supporting actor to some no-name, half-wit talent that nobody knows his name without Googling it, who's ugly as hell? Because he needs the cash. So, I mean, I saw a guy interviewed yesterday in Malibu. Beautiful mansion burned to the ground. And he said he doesn't have worth millions of dollars. He says he can't rebuild it. It's too much money to rebuild it with the construction regulations and all this crap. Yeah, there's a rally today, absolutely. My wife and I will have a podcast, and it's going to be good today. Go and look up Shrinking, okay? Where Harrison Ford is the lead guy in Shrinking. Is that the look of a leading man? I don't think so. Harrison Ford's a movie star. Well, he used to be. You know what I mean? Northern Ireland, welcome. I'm definitely not a leading man. Well, I'm not an actor. We're all the stars of our own movie, though, aren't we? The movie of our life. We're all leading men and women in our own life. Oh, boy, it's so exciting to have Trump back, isn't it? Did you watch Trump and Melania watching the fireworks? I'm not big into fireworks, but I love that display. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful to watch. Have you noticed how much Trump and Melania have, like, I don't know, they've, like, rekindled the romance, you know? They're always holding hands, talking, laughing. The lip readers probably couldn't read Melania's lips because of the accent, but they were talking. He would say something to her, and she was laughing during the fireworks, and I was dying to know what they were talking about. Weren't you? Yeah, I'm not into fireworks. I mean, you know, that's like pyromaniacs are in the fireworks. Oh, well, it was beautiful last night. Those fireworks I liked with Trump and Melania last night. That was awesome. Oh, it's very exciting. Oh, with the opera singer? Yeah, that was beautiful. I mean, I've been to firework displays when they played beautiful music over the loudspeakers. But I was watching the fireworks online. They had a bike, like there was a guy. I was watching this on some live stream on YouTube. I can't remember who it was or what organization or outfit it was, but they had a camera by the door to walk outside, and I was watching it for a while to watch people walking in and out, and then I saw Trump come up to the door, and he waited there for a while, and he pointed to, and the Secret Service man was telling him what to do and stuff, where to walk. But when the fireworks started, I was watching it there at first, and you could see Trump and Melania from behind, and you could see the guy, the opera singer, singing, and he was on this little, did you guys see this, what he was on? He was on this little tiny stage right to the right of Melania. I'm like, that is a confident man. He's on his little tiny stage next to Melania and Trump singing this beautiful music during the fireworks. It was pretty cool. I kind of felt bad for Lee Greenwood, though. I'd like to have seen him sing in there, too, a little bit, wouldn't you? Yeah, it is. It is very cloudy. It was foggy when I rode in here. Exactly, from Fry Cook, like SpongeBob SquarePants. From Fry Cook to the White House. It's awesome. Because I'm in Florida. It's like in the mid-70s right now. I checked the temperature before I left. I think it was 73 degrees when I left, 72. It's going to be in the 80s today. Newsom is just insane. You can see it in his eyes. Him and Whitmer, they're both insane. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Robert just gifted 10 memberships. Thanks, Robert. And remember, if you get that membership, if you received the gift of Robert's membership, you have access to the member-only emojis. That's right. And you get your name in green so it stands out in the chat. Seeing the names stand out in the chat help a lot. I can really see it. Stereo, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated, man. I appreciate that. Thank you all. I do appreciate all your support. It really does mean a lot. Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's still foggy. I don't see any fog out here now, but it does look, it's cloudy. I mean, I can't see the sky. But this is this is like the best time of year for the scooter. It's like, it was a little cold when I rode over here. I was like, oh, maybe I should have wore a jacket, but you know. But I had to bring the MAGA scooter I have to put some air in the tires. I don't get to, I'm too busy to ride it as much as I'd like. But I did take it on a good ride yesterday up to see Trump, even though I didn't get there in time. Trump cares about all Americans. Right? Trump cares about all Americans. No doubt about it. I know. If you're watching live, we have 1 day, 4 hours, and 59 minutes. And if you're here in South Florida, I hope to see you at Wings Plus tomorrow at noon to watch the inauguration with Steve Kane and me. Yeah, my daughter, I'm going to vlog some of the stuff I do with my daughter out in California. I don't want to say what it is, but she's going to take me to do something I've never done before, which I'm something I would never even consider doing. Oh, tomorrow's the beginning of the golden age of America. Think about it. And Trump's going to be president on the 250th 4th of July celebration. How exciting is that going to be? How many of you remember the bicentennial? That was huge. This one's going to be better because we got Trump. Mm-hmm. All right, I remember the bicentennial. I was in kindergarten during the bicentennial. Well, let's see. July 76. So that had to be... I don't know if I had started school before or after. I was born in 71, so I was 5, and my birthday's in April. So I turned 5 in April. I probably started school after that 4th of July. Yeah, I started school after that 4th of July, I'm pretty sure. But I remember it. Like, I remember in kindergarten, my pencil box that I had fireworks all over it and everything else. It was a big deal. Oh, I remember it very well. I remember watching the fireworks on TV at the Statue of Liberty in New York. I do remember that. You know, and it was really amazing. You know, see, there's a big because the bicentennial, and for you lefties out there or people in other countries, the bicentennial was America's 200th anniversary in 1976, and you know that was right after, we're like a year after Vietnam. So a lot of people, they're going to be talking about why was there so much patriotism right after Vietnam, right after Watergate. It's because the Vietnam War was popular in this country. The anti-Vietnam movement was fake. Okay, it was fake. Russian and liberal Soviet propaganda in the fake news. Most people supported the Vietnam War. The height of the Vietnam War protests, there were protests in all 50 states, was when Nixon was running for re-election, and then he won 49 states. So if the Vietnam War was unpopular, how did Richard Nixon win 49 of the 50 states? So there wasn't a resurgence of patriotism. The country was patriotic, but the fake news media was a poison then too, just like now. Exactly. Nixon was railroaded. There's no doubt about it. He just didn't have the guts to stand up to him. It is very dark out this morning. I don't like the weather. Oh well. Could you imagine if Kamala was getting sworn in tomorrow? What the country would be like? Oh my goodness. And I can already see signs that the economy is doing better. People aren't afraid to spend money now. Now make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel, guys. Bobby Kennedy Jr. thinks that his father and his uncle were both killed because they were going to pull out of Vietnam. Smokey and the Bandit was 7. I saw that in the theater. Smokey and the Bandit. That was a good year. Star Wars and Smokey and the Bandit. I didn't know it was 77. When you're that young, you remember things, but you don't remember the dates and years. Something's a little blurry. Nixon was kicked out of office, forced to resign. I mean, he resigned. He was not impeached. He was resigned because of his opposition to Vietnam. I'm sorry. But Nixon, as much as we like Nixon, okay, he did us a lot of damage. He gave us the Department of Energy, which was bad news, but he also opened up China. right? And look at the damage that's caused us. Like this whole thing we're talking about with TikTok. If Nixon would not have opened up China with Henry Kissinger, China wouldn't be the powerhouse they are now, doing all their evilness. So, as much as we like to say he got railroaded and everything, he really screwed us over by opening up China, didn't he? Yeah, only Nixon can go to China. I don't know. When Kissinger opened up with Nixon, China, I think they had a pretty good idea what they were doing. Why did they do it? I'm going to recommend something for you guys. It's a little unrelated to what... Anybody in the UK here? Do we have anybody in the UK in the chat? Because I was watching something yesterday. Okay, Harry's in the UK. I mean, I don't even know if you'd be interested in this either, but I watched... I got a little bit of an obsession yesterday. I watched a documentary on them finding the grave of Richard III, and then I ended up watching like 3 documentaries on it. Then I watched. I'm like getting like fascinated with Richard III. If you want to see something interesting, watch it. There's a lot of videos that are full documentaries that are less than 20 minutes on them finding the body of Richard III, which it was amazing how they found that. It blew me away. You were born in England. I was blown away by it. How they found his body and exhumed it. But the only thing I didn't, they had a funeral and everything. But the only thing I didn't get, it didn't look like anybody from the royal family was at the funeral. When I was in college, I had to take a whole bunch of classes on the history of Britain. I took this one class that was fantastic. The history of Tudor Stuart England. I studied all these things, and it was so difficult because all these kings and queens, they have one name, then they become king or queen, and they change their name. It was very difficult to follow everything. But watch these documentaries on how they found the remains of Richard III. It was fantastic. Henry Kissinger and Nixon gave us China. Trump's not president yet. All these people, why isn't the price of this down? Trump's not president until tomorrow, and he doesn't wave a magic wand and all the prices go down on day one. It takes some time. Are these liberals that stupid? I think they are. I really think they're that stupid. This Starbucks makes the best Starbucks coffee I've ever had. William, $5 super chat. Thank you. Kamala would be under the influence of getting sworn in tomorrow. Yeah. Do you think she'll be under the influence tomorrow? It's noon. She'll definitely be drinking tomorrow. It's humiliating for her. Losing. The one election that I'm curious about is that really don't have a full answer as to why this one happened, right? We were talking about how both Kennedys were shot and killed because of Vietnam, their opposition to Vietnam. Nixon was removed from office because of Vietnam. But they also took down H.W. Bush. If you remember, H.W. Bush was a 3-man race. It was Bush, Clinton, and Ross Perot. And Bill Clinton only got like 43% of the vote or something. because of Ross Perot. You know, that was the first presidential election I was old enough to vote in, and I voted for Ross Perot. I can, you know, but I really, I mean, everybody knows that Bush lost because of Ross Perot, and then I've talked about this a few times on the show, and I'd like to get some answers on this. I found out, I don't know, about 2 years ago that, you know, the Tonkin Golf incident, that fake deep state bullcrap that said that the Vietnamese attacked a U.S. naval vessel that escalated the war in Vietnam. When that ship was, with their fake attack on that ship, they called in naval air support. And the squadron leader that gave air support from the aircraft carrier in the Tonkin Gulf incident was Stockdale, Admiral Stockdale. He was a commander then, Admiral Stockdale, who was Ross Perot's running mate. So, and if you remember, Ross Perot was running, and then he dropped out. And then he came back, you know, and started running again. Do you remember that? So if so obviously with Stockdale, there's a deep state connection to Ross Perot through Stockdale. I mean, what are the odds, right? Tonkin Golf. And I don't remember hearing anything about the Tonkin Golf during that campaign. I'm sure somebody mentioned it, but I don't remember it. So why did the deep state want H.W. Bush to lose and Clinton to win? Why? There was obviously a plot there. And then, if you look at the drama with these people, you know, you're talking about Richard III and all the drama with the princes in the tower and all that stuff. The drama with the Bushes and the Clintons, okay? And this is, I started putting the pieces together to how deep this is about 2 years ago when I first started, when I saw that Admiral Stockdale did the air cover with the Navy at the Tonkin Gulf. And then there was and then when things really started to, light bulbs started going off. There, a couple years ago, Monica Lewinsky made a TV movie on FX about her affair with Clinton, and Clive Owen played President Clinton. And a lot of that shows how the FBI was operating against Lewinsky and Linda Tripp. And, Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh was one of the lawyers that worked for Ken Starr, who was, so Kavanaugh was involved in the Lewinsky investigation and all that, which started as something completely different, right? Anybody remember the name of the land deal that Ken Starr, I bet you, was originally investigating that turned into Lewinsky? I bet you somebody knows. It's similar to Watergate. A similar name to Watergate. I'm sure someone remembers. But then Whitewater, that's correct. Yeah. The Clintons invested 10 cents and made tons of money. So this is, there's a lot of drama here that's untold that we don't really know. Okay? So this is what happens. Someone, deep state Democrats, get Ross Perot in there with Admiral Stockdale to divide the Republican vote. They divided the Republican vote. They handed Bill Clinton the presidency. When did everything turn to total shit for Bill Clinton? Right? It was Ken Starr and all of that. But do you know how they got Monica Lewinsky with Linda Tripp? You know how they got her? And she testified and everything? What did they do? How did they get Monica Lewinsky to testify about her affair and against Bill Clinton? Do you know how? Which brought down Bill Clinton, forever weakened him. And now they're part of the deep state. What did Monica Lewinsky do that got her cooperating with Ken Starr? Do you know? Anybody know? Taped. A little more specific. A little more specific than that. Cigars? No. They got her on an FBI perjury trap. Okay, like General Flynn. They got her on an FBI perjury trap. And you guys should watch this movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. It's an FX movie. Monica Lewinsky produced it. And Clive Owen plays President Clinton. And you find out that Kellyanne Conway's weirdo husband is close personal friends with some MAGA people of today. I couldn't believe. So, H.W. Bush was FBI. He was FBI, he was CIA, he was vice president, he was everything, but he was FBI. And the FBI, she did not know, they had gotten to Linda Tripp, right? Vince Foster suicide, that's a whole nother scandal I don't want to get sidetracked on. Linda Tripp got transferred out of her fancy, prestigious job at the White House by the Clintons and moved to, I want to say, was it the Pentagon or the State Department? Might have been a state, but she got put in a big pool of just a crappy job. She got pissed off. She started cooperating with the FBI, and she was having all these conversations with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky didn't know she was being taped. And she got the tapes to Ken Starr. The FBI did a sting. They wired up Linda Tripp. Linda Tripp had a meeting with Lewinsky. They came in, they picked her up. The FBI, and Kavanaugh was involved in this. As crazy it is, Justice Kavanaugh, because he worked for Ken Starr. Ken Starr's team, which Kavanaugh was a member of, they detained Monica Lewinsky after this lunch meeting with Linda Tripp wearing a wire. They bring her into a hotel room. They question her about her affair with Bill Clinton. She didn't know they had the tapes, and she lied during the interview. She lied to the FBI investigators because Ken Starr had FBI people working with him. So she lied to the FBI about her affair. They got her on a perjury trap, and that's when she played ball with them. So when I saw that, I mean, these are things we knew about, but when I saw the TV movie, it just put things in a new perspective because we lived through it. And when you're living through something, you don't have the same perspective as you do years later, right? Because, the impeachment of Bill Clinton was in 98. So then I started thinking, why did this perjury trap with Lewinsky happen? Why did the Ken Starr thing happen? And this is what I think happened. And we don't know all the details, but this is my theory. It's all George H.W. Bush. It's all H.W. Bush. The whole impeachment of Bill Clinton. He was pissed off. I saw an interview with him, with H.W. Bush, a year or two after he left office, and he said there's nothing more humiliating than losing the national election because you've been rejected by the country. Okay? And this is my theory. President H.W. Bush, Bush 1, Bush 41, was pissed off that they effed him over with Ross Perot, split the Republican vote, and gave Bill Clinton the election with 40-some% of the vote. And since he was FBI, remember, H.W. Bush was in Dallas the day Kennedy was shot. He was an FBI agent in Dallas that day. He used his FBI deep state contacts to do the whole thing. The whole impeachment and everything was H.W. Bush. The whole Lewinsky affair was all H.W. Bush. Pissed off at the Clintons to get revenge on them. It's lawfare. And I don't know how many people view it that way or have that theory, but that's what I think happened. Now, I don't want to call Bill Clinton a victim of lawfare like Donald Trump, but this is the kind of crap they pull. And I'd love to get the full true story about that. And if you don't think, for anybody who thinks that Bush 41 was a good guy, he's a scumbag. His son's a war criminal that lied about the WMDs and has destroyed millions of lives, okay? And including many American lives. You see those Wounded Warrior commercials? But his wife hated him, Barbara Bush. Barbara Bush, and this didn't get a lot of publicity at the time, Barbara Bush wrote a book that exposed everything about her husband. And she wrote the book under the agreement it wouldn't be released until after they were both dead. which shows she was pissed off. And Barbara Bush, in her book, exposed something that I had no idea about. And no one did. No one. Now, a lot of us may know it now, but we did not know it ever. Ever, ever, ever. Bush 41 had a mistress from the time he was ambassador to China all the way through his vice president and presidential administration. And she worked in the White House when he was president. And Barbara Bush wrote about this in the book. You can look all this up. And she was pissed off and looking to F them over after they were gone. And that's why she wrote the book and had it published after they were dead. So he was a scumbag, H.W. Bush. But there's just... I think he was behind. I think he did lawfare against Bill Clinton, just like they do on Trump. I'd love to get the whole story about it. There's a lot of palace intrigue with these presidents, man. A lot. It's insane. Now, who did, Dale? Oh, excuse me. Apologize. When I found out about the mistress, and you can find this out, you can find pictures of her at the White House. They started their relationship when he was ambassador to China, H.W. Bush, all the way through his presidency. I don't know how far after his presidency, because he got pretty sickly. So I don't know. For those that are asking about this, okay, this is known as all kinds of things. Some people call this a dead cat. What this did, you know, I'm outside. There's wind blowing. So what this does is you don't hear the wind noise on the mic. If I didn't have this on, when the wind comes by, you'd hear on the mic. It's a wind guard, a dead cat. I know, it's, these are, you know, that's why they hate Trump. You know? They can't get anything on him like they have on all these other guys. Well, thank you, Larry. Well, listen, guys. I'm going to head home and get on the MAGA scooter and get some things done. My wife and I will have a podcast later today, and of course, we'll be watching the Trump. Will you guys be watching the Trump rally? Absolutely. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video, all right? I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.